Hello everyone, welcome into my craft space. As you can see, I've got a pretty messy desk going on here, or maybe you can't see very good, but I've messed it up pretty good working on some pages for my next journal. I'm using this Sweet Like Honey journaling kit from RachandBella Crafts, and I do have my own discount code to help you guys save 10%. If you're interested in that, the link will be down below, but I just wanted to let you know what images you're going to be seeing, because that is the kit that I'm working with for this journal. So I am going to be making two master boards today. I found I'm working with an 8x8 piece of cardstock, and I actually have two of them. One side has this nice backing on it. It's kind of a wood grain and they're different colors. The other side is kind of wild and crazy and not really my style for this project. So we're going to go ahead and cover those up and make a master board. I really enjoyed making master boards because they help clean up the desk and utilize a lot of little scraps. Here is one I made after my last journal. I posted pictures of it on my Instagram and my Facebook page. If you missed it, this is what it looks like. So it's just a beautiful collage of a lot of little scraps and things. So what we're going to do first, because these pages are a little loud on this side, I'm going to go ahead and cover it with some book page. And you can see on this one I stamped and it kind of missed a little bit. This one I stamped a little better. It's not going to matter. We're just going to go ahead and start gluing. And some people prefer to use their glue stick with this gluing here. I use a little bit of glue stick, a little bit of wet glue. I just kind of do whatever I feel works best at the time. I will say sometimes with the more vintage pages, like book pages like this one, they can be a little on the thin side, and you know, wet glue can really saturate them. So some people prefer to use glue stick, but I find when I'm doing the glue stick like this, sometimes it rips a little bit. So use whatever glue or adhesive suits you best and suits your medium best. Some people also use like a matte medium, and that works as well too. So use whatever you have, use what works best for you and your project. I'm just gonna find some other book pages and keep gluing them, so then I have a little bit of a better background to start from, a little less loud. And these are literally just pages from a book block that I took the book cover from. They are vintage. I think they're from 1970 something. And just take maybe one more piece here. Okay. Now you don't have to use book page. You could just use paper. You could use cardstock. You can use whatever you have. If you like to collage with magazines or scrapbook paper, digitals, you can use anything that you'd like. I am working with this digital kit, so I will be using pieces from working on journal pages with that kit. So most of my scraps will be from that. Now you could coffee dye your papers or ink them or paint on them, whatever you would like. I'm not too worried about these ones right at the moment because they are vintage and they do have a little bit of that yellowing that I would get if I inked them anyways. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'll put this piece right here. Now these are just gonna be in the background. I'm mostly putting them down right now just as a layer and to kind of cover up that loud paper. so I can a little more concentrate on the images I'm going to be putting down. Now I've seen some people use just book page and they make their layers on that. I suggest master boards. Let's chat about that for a second. Master boards, what do you use them for? Well, you can keep them as they are and use them maybe, you know, as a page in your book or a page in a scrapbook, as a cover. You can cut them up into tags and journal cards, and that's what a lot of us do with them. So I suggest you think about what you want to do with them and then decide your backing based on what your plans are. And if you don't know what your plans are, maybe just go with something neutral. Some people use a few layers of book page, like 2 or 3 layers, and that will thicken it up, and then they collage on that. I'm using some cardstock as my backing, just because I know if I cut this into tags or whatever, then I won't have to back it with cardstock after that. So it kind of saves a step. Okay, I'll put a little piece here. And like I said, I'm not too worried about this layer because I'm mostly just trying to cover up that really loud cardstock so I can concentrate a little bit better on the images I'm going to put down. And then also to make sure this color doesn't bleed through, because it's not a color that I'm working with in this project. Okay, so a little bit is showing, and that's okay. I'm not too worried about that, but I've got this one mostly covered up. We'll go ahead and do the same thing on this one. I'm just gonna put 2 pages down like that. And collage is really freeing for some people, me especially. I really love it. I like just the freedom of gluing things and not really thinking too much about it, just kind of focusing on the shapes and where things fit, and just letting myself use whatever I have out. So for me, I'm kind of using it as a method to find my desk a little bit too, a way to use up some scraps, make something beautiful without really thinking a lot. So on one of those days, if maybe you're feeling a little, you know, not as creative or whatever, you can get out a scrap bin, or, you know, if you don't have a scrap bin, maybe you're a new crafter and you haven't made many projects yet, find some book pages like this, or find a magazine and just rip up the pages and then put them all back together in a different way. That's kind of what collage is. Sometimes people will make shapes out of their collages. I've seen some really cool things done with collage. You can do pretty much anything. I mean, it's just another way of doing art. So you can just glue things together. You can make it make a shape or make a design. You know, whatever it is for you. If it's just a relaxing way to glue and, you know, cut and glue, that's okay too. I love to paper tear, so for me it's really just kind of freeing and relaxing. You can put things down on paper. Love it. I love using different textures and different items and colors. Okay. And it's okay if some things hang over the edge. We can trim them down later. No worries. Okay, so you can see I just kind of loosely have some book page down, and now it looks like a totally different project. But I've got my cardstock on the back that I would want on the back if I were to make tags or journaling cards. And then I just have all these pieces everywhere on my desk from working on my last project. So literally what you do is you just start grabbing things and decide where they might fit best. And these scraps are from a little cutout piece that I did. It had perforations on the pages, so there's actually a lot more scraps in here. You can have a torn edge, you can have a cut edge, a clean edge. You can use decorative scissors. Whatever you have, use that. And sometimes my liking changes a little bit, so it just depends. All right, this was a piece I tried sewing on and the sewing machine got all angry. So I'm just gonna cut these off the back here. And then we'll use this piece, this scrap piece on this page. Cut off these strings. I like incorporating different textures and different shapes. So, you know, some of them will tear. And sometimes these projects are funny because it kind of makes more scraps as you go along. I think that is just kind of the nature of paper crafting. If you like to ink, you can ink each piece as you put it on. You can ink at the end. You can run ink over the edge of it. You can ink some of it, maybe not all of it. You can ink all of it. Whatever you like to do. Okay, I think I'm just gonna put this piece up in the corner here. Now some people glue right away, some people don't. Either way is totally fine. But I think what I'm gonna do now is just put you guys on fast forward and you can watch me glue everything down. Here we go. Okay, so now that we're mostly covered, I've got these pieces of tissue paper and some napkin that I just wanted to kind of decoupage on here. So I'm using my Mod Podge. I'm just gonna stick those loosely there. And on these tissue paper pieces, I might even just run my ink over, unless if I can get them light enough. We'll see. You could use collage medium, matte medium, whatever you like to do this portion of it, or you don't even have to decoupage anything, but I had these tissue paper scraps up here and a piece of napkin, and I just thought it went well, so just gonna add it in. And you can see from the way that I worked, some things get covered up, some things don't. Some things I inked, some things I didn't. I really didn't have any rhyme or reason. I just kind of let myself do it without really thinking about it too much. It's funny, I've watched other people collage, and as I'm watching, I'm like, ooh, put this one over there. Ooh, put that one over there. It's kind of like a puzzle that you try to put together. So hopefully I didn't cover anything that you guys didn't want me to cover. Otherwise, maybe I've inspired you to go out and do, I kind of want that little word love to show, so maybe I'll pull this back just a little bit. And we can always add that other piece somewhere else or on the other one. So sometimes in using the scraps, you create more scraps, if that makes sense at all, but it is a nice way to clean up the desk. And then some people might ask, what is the purpose of this? Like, what will you actually do with it? And like I said, you can cut it up for tags, you can make journal cards out of it, you can keep it as just one beautiful page. I know some people like to keep them or scan them. You do have to be careful if you plan to sell your journal, that you aren't scanning something that's copyrighted. If you're using it for personal use, no worries. Sometimes I do take pictures of mine just to help me remember some of the things that I've made. Maybe we'll put this on the other one, I don't know. So it just kind of becomes like a fun puzzle of where to put things. Cover this up here with some Mod Podge. It's gonna have a bunch of fun different textures. And then usually once I am a little closer to being done, I will add some stamping or some stickers. I think this one's pretty good though. You can see that Mod Podge is going in the creases of the pictures that are below, and you can Mod Podge the whole thing to kind of seal it all in, kind of help glue it a little better. Actually, I think I should just go ahead and glue this flower down. I think I'm just gonna put it in the corner here on this other one. Sometimes if I know I have a lot of scraps, I make 2 at a time. They never turn out the same, even if you're using the same scraps and items. It's so much fun to just see what you make, because it all turns out so different. Oops, that one kind of got bunched there. That's okay. I think what I like so much about this project is that the master boards are, you just kind of let yourself go and you just tear and rip and glue and don't think about it. And then usually when you're done, you have this beautiful piece. And sometimes, even if you don't really think the piece as a board is pretty, when you start tearing things apart to make other things like tags or journal cards, you'll wind up with some really original and fun pieces. So, you know, even if you think, gosh, I really don't like how cobbled together this looks, when you start cutting it apart into tag shapes, it might look a whole lot more appealing to you. So don't give up. And collage is one of those really hard things to teach, at least for me anyways, because I just kind of go with it. I don't really have any rhyme or reason. I think sometimes I kind of start from the edge and work my way in. But you don't have to do that. You can start anywhere you like. I've seen some people, they collage from the middle out. It's kind of like junk journaling. There really are no rules. So just, have fun with it. Let yourself be free to decorate and just use up those scraps that you have and little pieces. Sometimes the little pieces will just give it the perfect pop of color. So I'm going to set this one aside for a few minutes and we'll work on this one. And then in the end, you can add stamps, you can add stickers, you can add glitter. You can also do this with fabric scraps or lace scraps, whatever you have hanging out. Sometimes I like to add a little music page. There are some, theories on art principles and stuff. So in collage, using the rule of thirds or that kind of thing will help, where the eye will be drawn to. So sometimes using an item 3 times or having a focal point. And if you feel like your project doesn't have a focal point, it doesn't have to. You can add one at the end or just be happy with it the way that it is. Maybe you don't want one. It's your project. You can make it however you want. And in the end, if you aren't happy with the way that it looks, you can maybe use it as a background for an art journal or something and just paint over parts of it. The whole point of collage is the layers. So, just like in some of the other projects and stuff that have mixed media projects and stuff, sometimes you don't always see the things that are on the bottom that got you to the end result, and that's okay. Sometimes it's more about the process. And you'll notice on some of these I do use bigger pieces than others, and that's okay. I just kind of use what I have. Sometimes I go by the shape. Sometimes I just lay it down and don't really think about it. I do notice when I collage, though, I kind of work from the edges in, at least until I get a good border, and then I just kind of start filling in. But you can do it however appeals to you. Don't think about it too much. Just get in there and get gluing. And sometimes that's all it takes. You just have to start somewhere. I knew that red paper was gonna kind of throw me off, so that was why I covered it all on book page first. Made sure I had a good start. Also, one thing, since some people like to audition things, so they'll lay things down first and see how it looks. I do that sort of, but I usually just kind of glue right away, but I do leave a little bit of an edge unglued until I'm all the way done. And the reason I do that is because then I can lift the edges of things and put things under and do my layering that way. So you can do whatever way works best for you. And I try to use, all the shapes and colors that I have out. And sometimes turning things one way or another might appeal to you more or less. Ooh, there's that pretty flower. I love this flower. I definitely want to have this flower in here. Let's see. I think I want it right there. And seeing just how turning it one way can make a totally different look. I'm gonna put this here and rip this edge here. And with this wonderful digital, I don't feel like I have to ink a whole lot because it does have some distressed edges already, which is so nice. Okay, I'll put that little flower in there. And some of my things overlap, some of them don't. I don't really know how to explain to you guys why or whatever. I just kind of do whatever looks good as I'm putting it down. Try to use different layers and different colors within the color scheme, or, you know, sometimes not even within the color scheme. Sometimes I just go for it. Oh, I like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one all finished up, and then I'll be back at the end and we will do some stamping. Okay, so I've got both of them done. I apologize if you really wanted to watch the second one be collaged. I just didn't want this video to get too long. There will be more collage videos coming up though, so stay tuned for that. So this is how the second one turned out. And then we have the first one here, and this is all dried now, so it's nice bumpy texture. Now is where I like to go in and just put some random stamping. You might want to think about if you plan to do anything else to your masterboard so that you can choose the appropriate ink. If you use distress ink or oxide, it is reactive with water, so if you do anything else later, maybe painting or, you know, spraying it or whatever, some of your stamps might blur. So it is a good idea to use a permanent ink. I like to use archival ink most of the time. Sometimes I use stays-on ink. Today I'm just going to use this archival ink. And this one is in jet black. And I'm just going to go around. I've got this B stamp. This is a Stampin' Up stamp. I'm just going to go around and randomly put some B's. Let's see. Let's put something down on the back there so I don't get it everywhere. There we go. We're going to go off the edge. And just kind of randomly everywhere, like I said. And it's okay if it's cut off, because when you cut these all up, they might not be pieced together anyways. So, you know, don't think it's ruined just because your stamp missed a little bit. There's all kinds of different layers on here, so it is a little challenging to stamp. Sometimes I like to stamp just like the excess off here. And see on that one, I just got the head a little bit, and that's kind of cute. Just adds some extra things there. We'll get a little more ink and do a few more stamps here. Let's do some pieces. And I'm kind of looking for places where maybe I didn't get covered very good, or where I have some different elements. You know, it's kind of nice to just put some different things down. Okay, so there's that one. And then I have some of my favorite scripts, and I'm just going to press it here and there, like a little bit. And I have like this weird thing about seams and edges, so usually I will try to put things on those seams and edges. This kind of helps seal it up just a little bit. And you can see there's really no rhyme or reason, it just gives a lot of different interest. I'm gonna do just a little bit of this one over here. Any area that I feel is maybe a little plain or whatever, maybe needs a little added something, I'll just put them in there. Just put a little bit throughout, kind of helps to carry the cohesiveness. Okay, so that's how that one's gonna look. Then I had this really fun stamp I've been wanting to try. Sorry, there's going to be just a little bit of some crinkling. This one, I'm not sure. I think it came from Amazon. It's been in my stash for a little while. Been wanting to try it out. And it does have butterflies and not bees, but this one just has a really small butterfly in certain places, so I think I'm gonna try and hit that corner there, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna stamp this off over here. Oh yeah, that's fun. Okay, so let's try and put this like right here. Just add something nice there. And then I think I'm gonna move this. Look at this other piece. It's got like some checks, so maybe we'll put this one up here. Some nice color and texture up there. And we'll maybe just stamp it off in the center here. So you can see it just kind of does it real light. All right, let's put a little something right here over this B where we missed. There we go. Now it doesn't look like it's so much of a miss, just kind of looks like it's something else. Get some of these flowers going on just in somewhere else, and then I think we're just about done. There we go. I don't worry too much about the larger embellishments like brads or beads or buttons or a ribbon until I am ready to put it into tag or journal card form, because I feel like then I will know a little more what is going on with that piece individually. But you know, if you are happy just making the master board, you can definitely decorate them however you see fit. Okay, so I think that added a lot of interest there. Let's go ahead and stamp this off. Another thing you can do to them to add interest is do some stenciling. You can use some texture paste, some embossing powder. You can stamp sentiments, all kinds of fun things. So the sky's the limit with these, and I hope you have enjoyed watching as I make these, and I really did start to find my desk, so that is really great. And just think, all these little bits might have otherwise been thrown out, and now they make these beautiful master boards. So you know, you really can use your scraps and make something fun and something interesting. And I'm not going to cut these up in this video, but definitely stay tuned because I do plan to cut them up and make some tags for my journal. So watch for that one. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, like it, share, comment if you make these, or let me know what you liked about them, or if you would have put them in different positions. I'm always thinking that sometimes when I'm watching people collage. Anyways, thank you so much for being here with me and sharing this craft with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.